with Dr. Cheryl Evans from Northern Oklahoma College.
Well, thank you very much. Let's see. There we go. Oops. Okay. Well, thank you for having us today, and want to share with you a few things that are happening at NOC. I'll do just a quick update because I know Rich has a stop sign and I don't want to see it, so I'm going to try to beat him. Northern Oklahoma College is the oldest community college in Oklahoma, established in 1901. We just last week celebrated our first institution's building, Central Hall, and it's 115 years old, just like the institution right now. We have 3 campus locations for some of you who might not be familiar. Tonkawa is our home campus, Enid in 1999, Stillwater in 2003. Our mission is to be affordable and accessible and help our students complete their degrees. We used to think, let's get everybody to college. Well, that's not enough. We've got to get them to complete college once they get there. And we talked to our students a couple of years ago about what they liked about NOC and our alumni, and they said that their time there was life-changing. And I see some of our alumni here, even our outstanding alumni, Diane. So she might attest to that as well. So just a few things about NOC that you might not be familiar with is that we are the largest non-metro community college. There's 14 community colleges in Oklahoma. We're the 4th size. Rose State, OCCC, and TCC are larger than NOC. Tonkawa Campus, we have 7 residence halls. We have 6 NJCAA teams. Our women soccer playoffs are this weekend. Our women are number 5 in the nation. So we're hoping they win that tournament this weekend and move right on. Where the mascot is the Mavericks there, and colors are red and white because we were started out as a university preparatory school for OU, but now all our partnerships are orange. So we can be friends with everybody. We established the Enid campus in 1999, purchased the old Phillips University campus. We have 4 residence halls there and student employees, 4 teams. We don't have soccer in Enid, but we do have basketball and softball, baseball. And we're the Jets there because of Vance Air Force Base, and the colors are red and black. We have had a lot of national recognition recently. Before, we've been recognized by the Aspen Institute as one of the top 150 community colleges in the country. And this last few months, we were recognized by Smart Assets as number 3 in the nation. And what they were looking at was affordability, accessibility, and completion and transfer to 4-year institutions and workplace outcomes. And that's the ability of those students to earn based on the investment that they placed in their higher education. Then another group, a couple of months ago, Wallet Hub ranked us number 16 on some of the very same things. So it's really nice when independent organizations that you don't apply to, who are just evaluating all the data that you turn into the Department of Education, and these are the results that they come up with. So we've got a good thing going here in Kay County. I already mentioned the Aspen Institute. We do have a 5-member Board of Regents. Right now, we have 1 vacant seat. Regent Tom Duggar completed his board service last week because he was elected to the state senate. He'll be taking Cinder Halligan's seat and will be sworn in next month. And Jeff Cowan and Linda Brown from Ponca City serve on our board. Our foundation board of trustees, you can see there, we have a great group. A lot of Kay County folks participate on that as well. Our foundation is $8.4 million of endowed funds that help pay for scholarships and faculty positions at our institution. People are always interested in money, as we are, because that's what it takes to operate. And just to give you an idea about our budget, and I need glasses, I'm gonna have to look over here. Our actual budget is $26 million, and that is Part 1, and that includes state funding and tuition and fees. And then Part 2 is about $360,000, and those funds come from grant-supported type programs. And then we have Section 13 capital funding, which comes from our original partnership with the University of Oklahoma in school land money. And that's how we are able to keep our facilities in great shape, by using those funds. This shows you how the breakout of our budget looks. About 68% of our funds come from tuition and fees, and about 31% comes from state appropriations. If you'd looked at this pie about 10, 11 years ago, it would look just the opposite. And that's how much things have transitioned for funding for higher education. I guess I didn't show you that piece of pie, did I? There it is. And our general budget, obviously, faculty salaries are our largest investment, and that's over $11 million. And then scholarships and operation of our plant and all the other things that it takes to keep an institution running. This shows you kind of the downward slide of support for higher education in Oklahoma since 1988 to 2017. That shows you the flip that I was talking about, that 74% of the budget used to come from state appropriated funds, and now 31% does. Let's see. Tuition and fees. Last year, as you all are aware, higher education took the highest cut of any state agency. 16% of our budget was taken from us. That amounted to, for NOC, $1.6 million. We had to make a lot of changes in programs and employees, scholarships. Basically, everything that we do across the institution was touched. We did have to raise our tuition to help offset some of that, not all of it by any means, 6.8%, which resulted in about $110 more each semester for our full-time students. This shows you the average. There's a lot of talk about tuition out of control and things. In Oklahoma, that's not the case. Since 2009, the average increase of tuition in Oklahoma has been 4.7%. Oklahoma is ranked nationally on a good list for once. This one is for a college affordability. We are ranked number 5 in the nation, so there are only 4 other states where it's less expensive to attend college than Oklahoma. And we're 17th in STEM job growth as well, which is another good place to be. Economic impact, $9.2 billion in economic impact from higher education. There's over 85,000 jobs, and for every dollar from the state that's invested in public higher education, $4.72 is returned. That's a great return. As far as legislative agenda items this year, obviously the budget's going to be a big concern for us. Reports early are not positive. It looks bleak again out there. But we do need funding to continue to help build the workforce that Oklahoma needs. You look at the job gaps, a lot of them are associate degrees, career tech credentials, and 4-year bachelor's degrees that are needed. And so we've got to keep supporting higher education in order to achieve those goals. Oklahoma's Promise Scholarship is something else that gets talked about pretty frequently when it comes time to cut funds. And this is a commitment that the state has made to students starting in the 8th grade, if they will commit to make the good grades and stay out of trouble, and their families of a certain income level, that they can go to college in Oklahoma. And those funds are questioned each year, and then keeping our campuses safe to prevent access to guns on all of our educational campuses, because that's something that seems to come up every year in the legislature as well. NOC prides itself on partnerships. We have a great partnership with Northwestern, who of course is one of the partners at the UC as well. And we have a bridge program with them that our scholarships transfer to Northwestern. Obviously, the University Center in Ponca City is a great partner for us as well. In fact, we were part of the partnership that helped start the UC in 1999 with Conoco in the city of Ponca City. We were the fiscal agent until the Board of Trustees was established in 2012, and we're very glad to continue our partnership with the UC. We have 187 students there this fall. The Gateway program in Stillwater is a great program as well. We have about 2,000 students in Stillwater in the Gateway program. Our partnership with Oklahoma State University, about 1,000 of those are NOC-only students, and about 1,000 are students that come across to maybe take developmental education or just a general education course that fits better in their schedule, or they want to be in a class with 25 to 30 students. So. More partnerships, I won't go into all of those, but we do have some great grant programs and our career tech partners and public school partners as well, particularly with concurrent enrollment. We have 43 different degree options at NOC, and business is one of our large programs. Nursing, between our 3 campuses, we graduate between 90 to 100 nurses, RNs, each year. Last year, we had students earn 847 degrees at NOC. Complete College America is something you've probably been hearing about for a few years now. The goal is to add an additional 20,000 degrees, which would be an increase of about 67%. And each institution was assigned a goal for each year. For NOC, we have to add an additional 21 degrees to our prior year's goal. And we've met and exceeded our goals each year since that program's been in place. Total enrollment this year, we have right under 4,600 students at NOC. Throughout the course of the year, it'll be over 5,000 different head count, but this is how many that we have this particular semester. And you can see it's pretty even, about 1,000 students at each of our locations, and then the different groups of Stillwater students and UC, and we offer concurrent classes at several high schools as well via ITV and online. Speaking of concurrent enrollment, this is a program that funding has been a problem for in the past too. We hope this year and the legislature will fund it 100%. Last year, the budget was cut, was going to be that the colleges would only be reimbursed for 34% of the cost of those classes. After the dust settled and we got the money back that they took too much of in the beginning when they did the mid-year adjustments, now we get 64% of those funds back. But still, it's an investment by the institutions and by the state regents for that. Cost comparison, we are the second most affordable institution in the state of Oklahoma. Our tuition is $83 a credit hour. Our fees are $39.50 a credit hour, which in Tonkawa is about $122. And you can see at each site the different charges there. Our most expensive site, because of our MOU with Oklahoma State, where we charge the exact same tuition and fees that they do, total is $312 a credit hour. This shows you that if for everything that you want to do at NOC in a semester, it's just about $5,000 to live there, eat there, go to class, buy your books, everything. I do want to talk also about the economic impact of NOC. We have a $5 million budget that we spent on vendors in K County last year. So we do try to purchase services and products locally. Payroll, we had a $6.5 million payroll in K County last year. I already talked about our foundation just a little bit. I'm getting the signs over here. We have an alumni association that's great. Hope you'll be a part of that if you are a friend or have attended NOC. President's Leadership Council is a group of students that are some of our top students. They have a 2-year scholarship, and if you've attended any functions at NOC, you've probably met them. We have some upcoming events that I'll let you know about right there. Fall Musical's coming up November 17th, and commencement will be on May 6th this coming year. We have a whole lot more information that we'd love to share with you. It's online in our fact book that we produce annually. And I hope that you will encourage students to attend college here in K County, whether it's at the UC or at NOC Tonkawa. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl. Now we'll hear from Adam Lemming, the CEO of the University Center at Ponca City. I hope your speech is better than this.
Hey, do I have to stand behind this or can I move around? I do have to stand behind it? Oh my gosh, okay. I can do that. You're always throwing these curveballs at me. Thank you so much for letting me come and speak to you today. I know most of you here are here because I've bribed you or told you I needed you here, so I appreciate your support for being here for the University Center in Higher Education in Oklahoma. Again, my name's Adam Leeming. A little bit about me, because I know that's why you came, is you wanted to hear more about the person that runs the University Center. But I'm a Newkirk guy, born and raised, so I've been in the area quite a bit. I attended college at Northern Oklahoma College, graduated there, went on to Northwestern Oklahoma State University, finished my bachelor's degree, came back and taught in the public school system here for several years, worked with the man that you're going to hear later on speak for several years, and then got my master's degree through the University Center at Southwestern here in Ponca City, where then I became the CEO of the University Center in 2013. So I just want to talk just a little bit about the University Center. I'm not going to go into all the weeds as Dr. Evans did about the higher education system, but I kind of want to talk to you about your University Center here in Ponca City. What do we do for you guys? I always get asked in 15 seconds or less, tell me what you do, give your elevator speech. The whole mission of the University Center is to provide higher education opportunities for the citizens of Northern Oklahoma. So I can elaborate as much as you want on that, or I can be as brief as that. But I'm going to give just a little bit more and take a little bit of my 15 minutes. I'm not going to take the full 15 minutes, though, to tell you kind of some of the things that we do. So what do? We before I can tell you really what we did, I got to tell you how did we even get here. And the University Center, as Dr. Evans mentioned, was created in 1999. At that time, Ponca City and Kay County was the largest populated area in Oklahoma without access to a bachelor's or master's degree options in higher education. So the state regents, seeing that, knowing that, created this pilot program in conjunction with the city of Ponca City and Conoco at the time to offer some higher ed courses and degrees in this area. They started in 1999 with 40 students in 2 classrooms, and fast forward to 2016, and now we have around 350 students that take classes physically each semester with 16 classrooms in a 16,000 square foot facility that you see us in on 14th Street as you go down Ponca City. So we have grown tremendously. We're 17 years old, so as any 17-year-old teenager, you're starting to maybe get a little bit more independence, trying to figure out what you're going to be when you grow up. And I think our organization kind of models itself after that in some ways. So what do? We offer, we do a lot of different things for our citizens in this area and our students that take classes at our facility. Obviously, we offer our 2 years associate's degrees, bachelor degrees, master's degrees in Ponca City. But I think we do a little bit more than just that. Knowing that we needed to look at just expanding our offerings to not only touch people that are coming in to enroll and take classes, but maybe how do we help our local businesses? How do we help some of our civic groups, nonprofit groups? How do we be a good community partner in Ponca City? A few things that we've done this year, we've partnered with the Oklahoma State University Spear School of Business to provide high professional development for area businesses. We have one coming up on November 8th called Ethics Awareness that will be taught by a PhD scholar that's got several years in this field of study. They're very educational, very entertaining. That are one-day, high-intense seminars where our business professionals, leaders can send employees themselves and get that information in a format that works for their schedule. In addition, we had our first we called it Impact, which was our community volunteer expo that we had. We had 16 nonprofits, civic clubs, groups come and talk to our students about volunteer opportunities in and around the community. That was free of charge to our nonprofits and groups to come and visit. Every semester we have students that for whatever reason need community service, volunteer hours, and we thought this was a great match to pair them up with different groups and organizations just to see what's out there and how they can give back to the community. And maybe trying to start something now at the beginning of their academic careers or the professional careers that maybe forges a lifelong connection with the group or civic club moving forward. So like I said, we have about 350 students that take classes in that you would see as a traditional typical higher ed center college. But then we also have a lot of students that are online students that may be enrolled in Oklahoma colleges and universities or nationwide universities that need to utilize our facilities for whether it's testing services, study spaces, financial aid assistance, just academic advisement. So we serve about another 100, 150 students each semester that come in and utilize our facilities for those services. Total, we have about 1,000 students that we touch each year here in Ponca City. So I've talked to you about our Spear School of Business, our Impact Volunteer Expo that we've done this year. Another thing that I want to touch on is our concurrent enrollment opportunities that are available for your students, or your high school students. Each year, when I first started at the University Center, we had 2 high school students taking concurrent enrollment here in town. This semester, we have over 40 that are taking classes this semester. A lot of people don't realize in Oklahoma, starting your senior can take 6 hours tuition free in Oklahoma each semester. So you can graduate your senior with 18 credit hours tuition free. And Dr. Evans showed you kind of what tuition costs in Oklahoma for a Northern Oklahoma college. That's considerable savings for Northern Oklahoma families to utilize the University Center to get those first 18 credit hours knocked out here in town while living at home, while getting dual credits through high school. So we really we serve a lot of Ponca City students, high school students that take advantage of that. We have some Newkirk high school students that take advantage of it, and some of our outlying areas to the east of here, Fairfax, Scheidler, some of those high school students come over and take those classes with us as well. So we really appreciate, we partner with several different Oklahoma colleges and universities. Primarily, we partner with Northern Oklahoma College and Northwestern Oklahoma State University out of Alva. I would say they serve about 95% of our students. We do have a partnership with Southwestern, like I said, out of Weatherford. They serve we have an MBA program through there. And then, like I said, we started a new program with OSU Spear School of Business this semester, offering those professional development workshops for our area businesses. So we've talked a little bit about concurrent enrollment. That's something that's available for high school students. We serve a wide range of students. We have students there from 17 years old up to their mid to late 50s, coming back and retraining and retooling or trying to achieve that degree for that job that they've always wanted. A few things that I would encourage individuals, if they're ever interested in the University Center, we're here to serve. We're here to answer your questions. Higher education can be a scary thing for first-generation college students especially. I was a first-generation college student. I remember walking around the campus of NOC my senior year looking for someone that could help me get enrolled because I had no idea how to navigate the system. I had no idea that you had to have a transcript and you had to graduate first and all that stuff. So, and I wish I was joking about this, but it is. And if you know me, you're probably like, I can see Adam do that. But I wish we had resources like the University Center back then that we do now. We have full-time academic advisors there Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night. So if you have to work, there's someone there that if you come in and say, I have no idea about college, is college right for me? I want to do this job, I know it needs a degree. How can I get going and get started? Well, we have the staff people there that can answer those questions and get you going. Or you're a parent that says, I've got a kid that I want him to go to college, and we just have some questions that we need to pursue so we can plan out where they're going. Whether you're taking classes with us or not, that's what we're here for. We're your higher ed option. We're state funded, so we're going to support you wherever you go. A lot of people don't realize you don't have to be enrolled in the classes at the University Center to utilize our facility. We offer badges. We sell them to students for $20 if they're enrolled in any college or university, and they need a computer lab. They need a place to study, a place to work, someone to ask questions to. We can help you. So I would encourage people, if you do have questions, to stop by and visit us. We're open 7 days a week for student access. Still, believe it or not, with our budget cuts, we were able to maintain our 7-day-a-week operation. We, like I said, start at 7:30 in the morning on Mondays till 10 o'clock. We leave the the building open till 10, so you have to get there at 8:30 before we lock the front doors, just for safety reasons. But and then we're open till 5 on Friday. We would stay open late on Friday, but we just can't get college kids to come in after 5 on a Friday evening. I don't know why. And we're open Saturday and Sunday 1 to 5. We do have a large group of students that do utilize our facility on the weekend for whatever reason, whether that's their only time that they can get in and study and work, or get out of the house away from the kids or spouses, or just to come work and study. So, like I said, we know the higher education system can be kind of scary, can kind of be intimidating for those that don't have a lot of information about it, especially first-time generation. We're a resource for you. Consider us, remember us. We, like I said, partner with great colleges and universities in Oklahoma, right here in town. So if you have any questions, did I do good on my time? How much time do I have left?
You have 4 minutes.
Okay, well, I just want to talk just a little. No, I think I'm actually done. Unless you have questions about the University Center, I'd be happy to answer them after this forum, but I do want to give lots of time to my colleagues over here, because I know that they're faunching at the bit to get up here.
Still only going to get 15 minutes.
They do? So it's either use it or lose it.
Correct.
Can I note on the agenda that I'm given time? All right. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the University Center. I appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Adam. Okay, now we're going to hear from Bruce DeMuth, who is the Superintendent and CEO of the Pioneer Technology Center.
Thank you, Barry. The first thing I want to do is thank the Chamber, the Ponca Politics Committee for putting this forum on today. I hope that you're going to learn something from each of us that you didn't already know before you got here today. One thing I love about the community of Ponca City is the way that we all work well together. I mean, if you look at the city, the Chamber, the schools, our higher education partners, the business community, we all work well together, and we come together to solve problems, and that's one thing that I'm really proud of. Matter of fact, today, about half of my staff, my biz staff, is out at the airport. Today is manufacturing day in Ponca City, and we got a lot of people out there. There's several people here that I saw there this morning. So with that, I'll get started, and what I'm really here to talk to you about is Pioneer Technology Center. Our mission at Pioneer Technology Center is enhancing lives and securing futures. And that's really the funnel that we run all of our decisions through. It is, does it enhance lives and secure futures? And that's what we're all about. Just some quick fact. You're going to find some similarities between my presentation and Cheryl Evans, although mine's going to be a little shorter. But we have fun facts too. We began serving students in 1973. We're one of 29 technology centers across the state with about 60 campuses. We only have one campus, and it's here in Ponca City. We serve about 10,000, it's usually more, but a minimum of 10,000 students a year. The bulk of those are business and industry clients. If you look at our full-time enrollment, and I'll talk about that later, but that's really a small percentage of our total student population. And then we serve all of Kay County and parts of Osage and Pawnee counties. Let me back up one. You know, a lot of you probably thought you might be hearing from the VOTEC superintendent today. We changed our name 22 years ago, folks. So we're a Pioneer Technology Center, and I really appreciate the fact that I'm starting to hear more people refer to us as Pioneer Technology Center, and that makes you smart. So if you will kind of help us out with that and help us with that message, I appreciate it. We have a Board of Education that represents all the different communities in our district, and just real quickly, I'll go through those. Larry Buck represents kind of the western side of the Ponca City district, all the way out to Woodland Schools, which is where is Fairfax. Fairfax and Ralston combined several years ago to form Woodland District. And then Mary Rigdon is from Newkirk, Orva Rothgeb from Tonkawa, and then J.D. Sullick is from Blackwell, and then Gay Norris kind of represents the greater Ponca City metropolitan area. I just mentioned the communities that we serve, but I'll go through those quickly. Blackwell, Newkirk, Ponca City, Tonkawa, and Woodland are all what we call our partner schools, our sending schools. They have voted to join our district, and they pay taxes to support our district. Therefore, their students, their high school students, get served for free. And so there's no tuition for high school students when they come to our place. Our values, and Molly Kyler here is in the audience. She tells us the easy way to remember our values is if you can remember the word pickle, you can remember our values. Pickle stands for people, innovation, economic development. I left one out. Learning, and then economic development. So I obviously can't spell pickle. It's pickle. It's pickle without the K. If you look at our economic impact, 1 year's worth of our graduates, and this is 2015, their earnings were over $7 million. That's 2015 graduates. That does not include any benefits on their salaries. So we think that's a pretty important economic impact. If you want to know where our money comes from, if the column on the right, I'll focus most of my time there. That's where we get our money. The column on the left tells you where we spend it. But we are pretty much opposite of what our public schools are in that the bulk of our money does not come from the state. It comes from local ad valorem taxes. Currently, we're at 23% state funded. In 2009, that number was 36%. So you can see over time, the state funding continues to shrink and our local funding has to pick up the difference. Luckily, we've had a little growth in our local funding, so it helps offset some of the cuts we've got from the state. And we're very, very fortunate in that we're not heavily reliant on state revenue because it's so volatile. And so Dr. Pennington gets frustrated, I think, sometimes that we don't get hit as hard as they do whenever there are budget cuts. And the fact of the matter is we get hit, but it's on a smaller percentage of our budget, so it doesn't hit us as hard as it does our public school partners. I want to spend a few more minutes on this slide because this is really all about accountability. We really try to be accountable with the taxpayers' money, and we want to be accountable for results. I'm not going to list all of those programs, but those are our full-time programs. When you think of someone enrolling at Pioneer Tech that they're going to be there for half a day during their high school career, typically it's for 2 years, their junior year and their senior year. These are the types of programs they would enroll in. This past year, I'm very proud to announce, and I've done this several times, we got the highest enrollment at Pioneer Technology Center we've ever had in our full-time programs. We're at 547 this year, 547 slots. An adult that comes in the morning and afternoon counts for 2 slots. That's always been that way. But this year, of the 19 different options a student can enroll in, 14 of them were full and had a waiting list when school started, which is a wonderful problem to have, but it's a problem. So we're looking at what we can do to add some additional programs for next year to be able to serve more students. We also we do a follow-up with our students after they graduate, 6 months out. We contact them to see what they're doing, and we have a 96% positive placement rate of our graduates. Positive placement includes people that are working in the field that we trained them in, they're continuing their education, or they went into the military. So we feel very good about that 96%. As a matter of fact, we're the second highest in the state in 13 and 14, and we haven't got the numbers for 15 yet, but we think we'll be right there. The other thing we work really hard is to get our students to get industry certifications. A lot of times that's the ticket they need to get a job when they go someplace, is that industry certification. It tells employers what they can do. And we're all about helping our students be successful, that helps our employers be successful, and that helps our community be successful. The other thing we're working really hard on, and I just came from the meeting out at the airport talking about the skills gap. The average age, I heard this morning out there, of manufacturing workforce is 56 years of age. Folks, we've got a day of reckoning coming if we don't get some people trained to backfill those people as they move out of those jobs. So that's what we're all about doing. Something else we've been working on very hard for the last several years is our sending school service rate. And that means the percentage of juniors and seniors in our partner schools that attend Pioneer Technology Center. And remember, this is a choice. They don't have to come. We have to make our place a place they want to be and the culture they want to be involved in. And they choose to come to Pioneer Technology Center. You can see by that chart that the red line is the statewide average. Just a few years ago in 2012, we were just a little above the state average at 21.27%. State average was 18. The last several years, we have really improved in that area. We're at 33.85% of the juniors and seniors in our districts that attend our school now, and that's the third highest in the state. We survey our students every year, and there's just a couple I want to highlight here. Two of the questions that we ask, one is, if I'm having trouble in my academic classes at the high school or my classes here, someone from Pioneer Tech will help me. And we got a 96% favorable rating on that question. And the one that I'm also really proud of, it's almost 94%, and the question was, my teacher cares about me. And we have an outstanding staff at Pioneer Tech, and our students do know that the teachers care about them. I've told you that students can come to Pioneer Tech tuition-free as juniors and seniors, but several years ago our board realized that some students, due to their scheduling conflicts at the high school, and as the legislature has continued to add more and more requirements on students to get a high school diploma, they could not find time in their schedule to spend a half a day with us. So we instituted something called the 13th Year Scholarship. So that's free tuition for a student that came to us maybe as a senior but wanted to come back and complete. And then we also have the first-time student waiver, which allows a student to come to Pioneer Tech up until the time they're 21 years old if they graduate from one of our sending schools. We also have a foundation that raises money to help students who need money to get through school. We have several special programs. New Beginnings is a program that really, if you think about a single mom who might be on public assistance, who might need some help to get some job training or a GED, or she lacks some things she needs to be able to get a job, that's what we do in our New Beginnings program. We really take people that are on public assistance and try to make taxpayers out of them. And I think that's a tremendous financial impact. We served 1,140 of those students since 1997. Our adult basic education and high school equivalency, we have produced 472 graduates since 2010. And SHARE stands for Sharing Hope and Redefining Education. That's a dropout recovery program. We doubled the size of that 2 years ago because there was just so much demand in K County, because we have a lot of students that for one reason or another don't graduate from high school, and so we get them back in. We get them enrolled in their academic courses that we teach there. They're with us all day. They get their academics, and then they get enrolled in a career tech program, so hopefully they get the academic skills and the technical skills they need to be able to get a job. And we've had 496 of those since we started that program in 1999. The Gold Star School Award is something we're very proud of. Every year we try to achieve the standards that a school has to meet to be a Gold Star school, and we've hit that 13 times. The last 6 years in a row we've done it, and that's not something we take for granted. It's a pretty stringent set of criteria. Biz, we have a fairly large staff that works primarily with business and industry every day. I don't have time to go into all of that, but you can see that last year we served 10,430, I think it says 8 students or clients. I have 3 minutes, so I can do that. Thank you very much, Rich. Every year, the tech centers have the opportunity to recognize one of our business partners at the state capitol. And last year we recognized Continental Carbon. They've been a great partner for us. I don't know how many of you know that, but they gave us some money to help retrofit lighting in our building. And we put LED lights in our shops, and it's reduced our energy usage substantially. And they've been a good partner for us. We're doing things for them as well in training. But that list there has a list of all the different services that we provide in our biz area. Since I don't have a lot of time, if you want to go to our website, this presentation is on our website. It's called Report to Taxpayers. We initiated something about 3 years ago called our Guaranteed Graduate Initiative. This is an endorsement that our students can earn. It's not something that we give them. We have criteria they have to meet. And if they will meet that criteria, and the criteria are things like good attendance, they have to earn an industry certification, they have to have their teacher's recommendation. Those are the things that we look for. If they earn this, then we guarantee them to the employer that hires them that they will be successful and that they will be there every day and they'll do the job you hired them to do. And if they don't, you send them back to us, or we'll come out on site and we will tune them up if they need to be tuned up. And I'll tell you, since we started this program, we've had not had one phone call from an employer that was not happy with the person they hired. But again, the students have to earn this. Everybody doesn't get this. Legislative issues, of course, funding. We're always going to be concerned about funding. Access, and when I say access, I'm talking about students having the ability to access our programs. And you may not think about this, but every time the legislature increases graduation requirements or requires students to take another course in order to graduate from high school, sometimes that's a barrier for them to be able to enroll in our programs. So that's something we're very cognizant of. Another access issue that is really more of a federal issue than a state issue, the Veterans Administration has determined that the definition for students to be able to use their GI Bill benefits to go to an educational institution does not allow them to attend a technology center. We've been serving students since we started on the GI Bill, and this is a new thing, so we're trying to get that language corrected at the federal level so that veterans can use their GI Bill at a tech center. And then campus safety, you know, Dr. Evans mentioned guns on campus. That's what keeps me awake at night, is if someone were to happen to want to do damage at our school, it's going to be very difficult for us to stop them. There's legislation been proposed every year to allow people to carry weapons on our campuses. I don't believe that people open carry on our campus makes our campus any safer for our students and our teachers and our staff. So that's something we'll continue to try to fight. If you don't want to know more about Pioneer Tech, we're on the internet. We have a website, and we're on Twitter and all those other wonderful social media sites, so please hit it there. I beat my 15 minutes. Thank you very much. I'll be around if you want to ask questions afterwards.
Thank you, Bruce. Good job. Now we have Dr. David Pennington, the Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools.
Thank you, sir. Like others, we're very glad that we had this opportunity to come and speak to you today about our school systems, and we'll try to move through this pretty quickly. Mission of the Ponca City Public Schools is to ensure that all of our students are prepared to live and work successfully in a global society. We have about 9 district goals that are related to that. The first one is all students will learn a rigorous based, you can tell I can't read very far, a rigorous content-based curriculum within a 21st century framework of collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. Why? Because we believe that the students who are in our schools today are going to inherit a world where automation, globalization, workplace changes are going to be prevalent, are going to change the way they work and the way they live. What do we know about the role of education in the future? We know that individuals who obtain more education will have a greater advantage over students who do not. And we believe that students must know how to better apply what they learn and deal with real-world situations. Global literacy is going to be critical to students in the future. Communication, numeracy, the ability to apply math to solve challenging problems in the real world. Creativity, the ability to identify complex new problems and see patterns, suggesting new opportunities, new solutions. Scientific literacy, teamwork and collaboration is going to be critical, is critical now to the workplace, but it'll be more critical in the future. Civic literacy, if you look at the last one, support for justice and equality, a sense of personal responsibility and willingness to participate in civic life, especially as we look at we have an election coming up, and we anticipate that even though it's a presidential year, that probably the turnout is going to be lower than it's been. That seems to be a continuing trend in our nation, that fewer and fewer people bother to participate in the election process. So here what do we look like? We have 5,100 students, 761 employees. 356 of those are certified employees. That means they have a teaching certificate. So that applies to administrators, counselors. We have 7 elementary schools, 1 pre-K center, 2 middle schools, a high school, and then an alternative school, a teen mom program. We have a share program that we work, as Bruce already mentioned that. We have online courses through a program called E2020, and then we have concurrent enrollment at NOC and the University Center. Our budget, a little bit over $51 million, really almost $52 million. 37.5 of that is general fund money. 3.8 is child nutrition, a building fund with $2.7 million. Bond fund, $5.9 million. Activity funds, $980,000. And gifted endowments, a lot of people don't know that we have a gift endowments fund of $823,000. And you'd be surprised what's in that gift and endowments fund. We have lots of scholarships that people have endowed, and we have some that, I think the largest endowment we have is $100,000. We've got one that I looked at the other day that has got a $1,000 endowment. It's just interesting how people give money to the school system. Those gifts and endowments are all dedicated revenues. They have a specific purpose for which they're used for, and we just basically administer that money. 87% of our general fund expenditures go to salary and benefits. 60.3% of that is certified staff. 18.5% is for support staff. 7.64% is for administration. Here are just some comparisons of our school system. If you look back in 2005, 71% of our students were Caucasian. Now it's 69%. The largest growth we've had is in Hispanic students. We were 7% in 2005. We're 10% today. Poverty rate in our district was 16% in 2005. It's 19% in 2015. Single-parent families, 18% in 2005, 40% in 2015. College degree in our community, 28% of our adults had college degrees in 2005. That is 22% now. We've had a bump in the number of percentage that have a high school diploma without a college degree. And our less than 12th grade education has actually dropped from 17% in 2005 to 13% in 2015. Our enrollment, in 2005 we had 5,200 students. We're at 5,172 now, or at least we were in 2015. 11% of our student body in 2015 was involved in gifted and talented programs, 17% in special ed, 68% qualified for free and reduced lunch in 2015 compared to 63% in 2005. Money. As Bruce mentioned, if you look at our revenue, you'll see that we've had an increase in the amount of our revenue that is local and county, a decrease in the amount of state revenue, a little increase in federal revenue. What's different about our situation than maybe the career tech, because of our funding, the way our funding formula works, while we've had an increase in local revenue, that money has not all stayed within the school system. Because we're equalized, and that means we basically share revenue across the state, the primary reason that you see that our local revenue is up and our state revenue is down is just because we've had a decrease in state revenue. And we've had a decrease in revenue overall. And so that's why those percentages look like that. How about our high school performance measures? How do we look at our high school and our high school students? And while we look at everything we do pre-K through 12th grade, obviously the high school is the end of that. And we kind of see education as a continuum, and we believe that students get better as they go through our system. You'll see that in 2005, 43.3% of our students completed what we call the Regents curriculum, and that's a set course course of study that the regents have set out, and they've said if students will complete this coursework, we believe they'll be prepared to go to college afterwards. And in 2015, 66%, almost 67% of our students completed that. Our ACT score is 22.9 in 2005, 21.2 in 2015. We'll show you the 2016 numbers in just a little bit. Remedial courses, 33.7% of our students took at least one remedial course when they went to college in 2005. That was 25.3% in 2015. Really, those were 2014 numbers. The report that we get this information from discontinued the remedial course reporting, and then the Oklahoma college freshman with a GPA of 2.0 or above. The last year we had that information for is 2014, which is why you see the asterisks. And you can see that 75% of our students in 2005 had at least a 2.0 their first year in college. Last year that was reported, which was 2014, that was 91.9% of those students. So ACT 2016, our score composite was a 21.4. If you remember when you took the ACT test, when you talked to your friends about what'd you make on your ACT, you told them your composite score. You didn't break down what you got in English and math. So the composite for our students last year was 21.4. The average in the state of Oklahoma was 20.4. The national average is 20.8. We have consistently been above the state and national average for as long as we've been doing ACT comparisons. We'll have we may go up and down a little bit, but we've continued to be above the state national average, and that is with an increase in the number of students who take the test. If you look at how does that break down, the ACT has a score for each of those subsets of tests where they say that you have a score and that you've met that benchmark requirement. And what the benchmark says is if you meet the benchmark, you've got a 50% chance of better making a B in that course in college, 75% chance of making a C, 50% chance of making a B. And so in the area of English, 88% of our students had an English subset score on the ACT that met the benchmark, compared to a statewide average of 61% and a national average of 61%. If you look at reading, which if you're as old as I am, when you took the ACT, it was called social studies. We call it reading now. And you can see that 50% of our kids compared to 45% for the state and 44% for the nation. If you look at math, 42, 32, 41, science, 38, 32, and 36. And overall, when you take all four areas, it's 26% of our students met all four benchmarks, 21% for the state of Oklahoma, and 26% nationally. Obviously, we would all like to be higher than that, but when you consider that the ACT score is the most popular college entrance exam in the country, it gives you a pretty good idea of how our students who are intending on going to college compare with their peers across the country. Science is interesting. Science is always the area where students do the lowest. And just an aside, I happen to have a son that was a pretty good student. And the area that gave him the greatest challenge was the science part of the ACT. And we just have that conversation all the time that if you knew Nathan, you'd understand why that bothered him so much. Bond projects. These are projects that we are getting ready to complete with bond dollars, with the bond issue that we passed last October. And when they're going to be completed. In the spring of 2017, we anticipate that we're going to complete some improvements to the baseball and softball facility. We will complete the Solon's press box in August of 2017. Those of you who want to come see a high school football game with the traditional Ponca City press box that's been there forever, tonight is your last opportunity. Our last home game is tonight. We're playing Norman High School, and it won't come down tomorrow or Saturday, but very soon we hope that Rick Scott Construction will have that off the back of our stadium. Improvements to Robinson Fieldhouse will be completed in August of 2017. We're replacing the seating in the Howell Auditorium in August. That'll be done by August of 2017. We also have new HVAC units that we're going to install at East by August of 2017. There's a reason why it's August, because we start school in August, so those things have to be done in August. The renovations to west will also be done, and we're going to go in and renovate the restrooms. We're putting new flooring in the building. We're actually building a new restroom for faculty and relocating the counselor's offices in front of that building. Football locker room will be completed July of 2018. The weight room, July of 2018. The ticket booth and fencing of the football stadium, July of 2018. And the concert hall in July of 2018. We hope that those things are all finished before July of 2018. But the thing I've learned about construction is that it generally is not done when it's supposed to be done, as much as they try. Our primary legislative goal this year is the legislature will do no harm, because that's just where we are. We are in a continuing downward spiral. You can look at how much per pupil funding in Oklahoma in 2009, what it was last year. We've lost $225 per weighted ADM, which means that this year in our school district, we have $1.8 million less to operate on than we had in 2009. I get asked a lot, what about the lottery? What about gaming? And what this chart shows you is the lottery has brought in $57 million to common education. If we didn't have the lottery, our cut would be more. But we've cut taxes $356 million. And so you add the gaming money, you add the lottery money, and you subtract the tax cuts out of that, and you can see that doesn't match up. If you look at our spending compared to the rest of the nation, we have the largest cut in state aid. We have the, I think, 11th largest cut in all areas of state spending. When you throw local money in that, I think that's the 12th largest cut. If you look at those last two categories, that's 2008 to 2014. If you think about that, in 2014, the price of oil was $100 a barrel. So when we see that chart for 2015, when we see those last two charts for 2016, when we see those last two charts for 2017, we're going to be at the top in all three of those categories. This just shows you what the income tax rate cuts that you've gotten and how much extra money you have in your pocket compared to your category where you live. So, again, if you're at the top, you've had a significant increase. If you look at the education investment gap, and this is pretty simple, what do our neighbors spend compared to us? And this is all spending. This is teacher salaries. This is heating the building. This is administrator salaries. This is driving buses. This is everything that goes into operating a school. And what you'll see is we are significantly less than everybody else that surrounds us. For us to get to the regional average, we would have to increase spending on common education by $1.3 billion. That's how far off we are. Now, my three previous friends left it up to me to mention State Question 779. Okay? Everybody, you have an opinion. I don't think that most of us would say that increasing a sales tax is the best way to fund schools or anything else. But that's the reality that we face, and that's the only option we have on the table. This is what would happen in Kay County if this passes. If this passes, Ponca City Public Schools will receive $3.1 million. Of that $3.1 million, $2.7 million will be allocated by the Constitution to salary increases for teachers and teacher retention and recruitment. And then another $433,000 for initiatives to improve reading. So that's a significant increase for us. One of my staff asked me the other day, what are we going to do? And the answer I have is I don't know, because I've not allowed myself to think about it. Okay? Because to be quite honest with you, we've been cutting so much for the last 6 or 7 years, I don't know what we would do to have dollars that aren't designated to something. My initial reaction is what I'd hope to do, and obviously anytime you have anything like this, you're going to have to see what the legislature puts in place to tell you how you can spend the money. The teacher salary increase will be about $1.5 million of that $2.7 million. So that leaves us another $1.2 million for recruitment and retention of teachers. I'm hopeful that they will allow us to use that money to restore the positions that we've cut. and we could make a serious dent in class sizes in this district. Our elementary class sizes, first and second grade, are in the neighborhood of 24 to 25 students per classroom. If you get into the upper elementary level, you're looking at 27 kids in a class. We've done that for a long time. It is having an effect on the education that students receive. It's not fair to our kids. It's not fair to our teachers. We could and we should do better. So, and that's all I have. I'm going to send this to the chamber, and Rich, if you want to post it on your website, you can do that. Thank you. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming today.
Okay, thank you all for coming. All the presentations will be on the City of Ponca City website, and a reminder that November 18th we have another forum with the county elected officials. See you then. Thank you.